WhiteBIT Coin is ranked number 16 by market cap globally, sitting above coins that your favorite influencer has been screaming about for months, and almost nobody in the Western crypto space is talking about it. Let that sink in for a second. Rank 16. We're not talking about some obscure $3 million market cap gem that could disappear tomorrow. We're talking about a coin with serious exchange infrastructure behind it, real trading volume, and a user base that's been growing steadily while most of the altcoin market has been bleeding. And yet, if you went into any major crypto Discord or Telegram right now and asked, "What's your WBT thesis?" you'd get mostly blank stares. That gap between what's actually happening and what retail knows is exactly where opportunity lives. So let's break this down properly. Because WBT is not a simple story, and the people who are going to make money on it are the ones who understand the mechanics before the crowd shows up. WhiteBIT is a centralized exchange headquartered in Europe, and it's been quietly building into one of the continent's highest volume trading platforms. Think of it the way you'd think of Binance in 2019. Not at that scale, but following a very similar playbook. You launch an exchange, you build volume, you issue a native token, you create utility loops that lock up supply, and you ride the user growth curve. BNB went from under $1 to over $600 doing exactly this. OKB ran a similar trajectory. WBT is the third major exchange token to attempt this model at scale, and it's doing it in a regulatory environment that actually gives it a structural edge its predecessors didn't have. Here's the key thing to understand about WBT's design. The token is used for fee discounts on the WhiteBIT platform, for staking rewards, for launchpad access, and increasingly for settlement within their growing ecosystem of products. Every one of those use cases pulls tokens off the open market. When you combine that with a supply that isn't infinite and a buyback and burn mechanism the team is committed to, you get the early ingredients of a supply squeeze. It's not happening overnight, but the structure is there. Now, the timing matters here. MiCA, the Markets in Crypto Assets Regulation, is the EU's comprehensive crypto framework, and it's rolling out in full force through 2024 and 2025. Exchanges that are already operating inside European jurisdiction, with compliance infrastructure already built, are going to have a massive first-mover advantage when institutional capital starts looking for regulated on-ramps in Europe. WhiteBIT is positioned for exactly that. While Binance has been fighting legal battles in the US and scaling back European operations, WhiteBIT has been expanding. That's not an accident, that's positioning. If you're finding this useful, subscribe to Crypto Sayans. We break down moves like this before they go mainstream. So what does the price actually look like from here? Let's talk realistic numbers. WBT is currently trading in a range that has shown consistent support over the past several months. The kind of base building you see before a coin makes a serious leg up. If WhiteBIT continues growing its active user base at its current pace and the broader altcoin market enters a 2025 bull cycle, the way most on-chain analysts are projecting, the comparison to where BNB was at a similar stage of exchange growth puts WBT in a range that most people holding it right now aren't even pricing in. Conservative models that tie token value to exchange revenue and user growth put realistic 2026 targets well above current levels. We're talking multiples, not percentages. That doesn't mean it happens in a straight line. It never does. But the structural setup is there in a way that most rank 50 and below coins cannot claim. Now let's talk about what could actually go wrong, because if I don't tell you this, I'm just selling you a dream, and that's not what this channel does. The first risk is dilution. WhiteBIT has historically used WBT tokens for promotions, staking incentives, and ecosystem rewards. If token emission outpaces the buy pressure and burn rate, the supply squeeze thesis breaks down. This is the risk that the top-performing analysis in this space flagged, and it's legitimate. You need to watch the circulating supply numbers quarter over quarter. If supply is growing faster than the user base, that's a red flag you act on. The second risk is exchange concentration. WBT's value is almost entirely dependent on WhiteBIT's continued growth and survival. Unlike a protocol token that lives on its own chain with decentralized governance, WBT lives and dies with one company's business decisions. If WhiteBIT hits regulatory trouble in a key market, loses a major institutional partner, or gets outcompeted in the EU space by a better capitalized rival, WBT goes with it. That's a binary risk you need to size your position around. The third risk is market timing. If Bitcoin enters a prolonged consolidation phase or a macro risk-off event hits in late 2025, altcoins at rank 16 are not immune. WBT could have perfect fundamentals and still get cut in half in a broad market downdraft. That's just how this works. So here's my actual take. WBT is one of the more structurally sound exchange tokens I've looked at in this cycle, and the fact that Western retail hasn't fully discovered it yet is either the opportunity or the warning sign, depending on how you look at it. I lean toward opportunity because the volume data, the regulatory positioning, and the tokenomic design all point in the same direction. But this is not a slam dunk, no-risk play. It's a calculated bet on European exchange growth and responsible token management, both of which you need to keep monitoring. If you're building a diversified altcoin portfolio for 2025 and 2026, WBT deserves a seat at the table. Not your whole portfolio, not a leveraged moonshot bet. A real, sized position that you understand and can manage through volatility. Watch the supply data, watch the EU regulatory calendar, watch the exchange volume trends. The setup is there, but the people who make money on it will be the ones paying attention to the details, not just the price ticker. Subscribe to Crypto Sayans. We post breakdowns like this every week, so you never miss a move. Hit the bell too, because the best setups don't wait around.